Hello and welcome to the Downstairs of Grant's old mill. Over here are the gears of the mill. This metal shaft right here is the driver shaft and would have been connected to the water wheel through the wall here. So once the water wheel starts moving, it will move the driver shaft. This huge gear, which is called the vertical gear, then the lantern gear, then this runner stone upstairs. The gears down here are roughly about 150 years old, come from the late 1800s, and were donated to us by a mill in southern Ontario by Ogilvy Flour Mills. These two wooden gears here were handcrafted, and if you look closely, you can see these little carvings on the side here. That shows how much pride that he took in crafting this. I would take a lot of pride in this too if it could last 150 years. But sadly, because water has been so low, and because the water wheel outside isn't the most perfect water wheel, we installed this electric motor right here to run the mill, and it runs about 3 times faster than it would normally. Included downstairs is the Grand Family tree. The Grand Family tree is very vast, but I would like to focus on the wives of Cuthbert Grant first before I continue on with the rest of the family. Over here is the first wife, Elizabeth McKay, and their only son, James Grant. We don't know what happened to them. They kind of disappeared during the trial of the Battle of Sevenoaks, when Grant was arrested. We don't exactly know what happened to them, whether they were kidnapped, sadly, arrested alongside Grant, or went into hiding for their safety, because a lot of families were very angry at the Grant family at that time. Over here is the third wife. She has 13 children. That goes all the way almost to the other door. And finally, and her name was Mary McGillis. This one here is the second wife, Mary Desmarais. They only had one child together, whose name was Mary Grant. Mary Grant was the most notable out of the Grant children because she practiced medicine alongside her father. She also went on to marry another notable Métis named Pascal Breland, who became the next chief of the hunt after Grant died at 61. While over here is Mary Grant. Not much is known about her, but she has 3 children. Over here is Josephine Grant, my favorite of the family, because she also married 3 times alongside Cuthbert. I guess they had a little competition between siblings, but she also went on to outlive most of her husbands and only had 2 children. Over here is Mary Grant. From what this tree says, she only had about 6 children. And here's another famous sister, Margaret Grant, because it was with her on this side of the family with Michael Monia Belhomer and Josephine Satus. With this side of the family where Louis Riel shows a really it's that side of the family where we see the relation between Louis Riel and the Grant family through one of his sisters, Marguerite Grant. And according to this, much more enhanced tree. It shows that Grant is actually the great grandson of, great grandfather of Louis Riel. And finally, we have an exhibit here about the fur trade. Over here on this table is a small example of the furs that live in Chaptian area. Here is red fox, mink, beaver, coyote, muskrat, rabbit, skunk, and the special fur in there is called ermine. I like to call attention to ermine because it was a special fur that was only reserved for kings and queens of Europe. And they can reach maybe, I believe, 22 centimeters, from what I remember. And over here is a bison pelt and a bear pelt. The bison is very integral to us Manitobans, as we have it on our coat of arms, as well as our flag. It's what built our province, because it was founded by Métis leader Louis Riel. And another fun little fact about the bison pelt here, it wasn't until about the 1970s that the Winnipeg Police Department stopped wearing bison robes as their winter uniform and changed to the parka. I can't imagine wearing a buffalo robe that weighed maybe 40 pounds and wearing 20 pounds of gear. It would make pursuits much more difficult. And then, thank you for stopping by. And you can go up these stairs when you are ready.